Hey, you don't know that. Hey, Dawola is dating this guy. Not call his nickname, but you know, this guy was like it was the guy that everyone wanted to date where I was living in the barracks, and I dated him, not necessarily because I liked him. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. For a return subscriber, you know I love you, you know I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always coming back. Yes, I want us to gist today, okay? So today I'll be talking about mistakes I made whilst dating. Yes. Well, this is not just mistake that I made, also the same mistakes that I've seen my close friends also make whilst they are dating. I just remembered one. So the first mistake that I have here, so I have a list. I have a list here which I will be, you know, peeping into to talk about today, and the aim of this video is hopefully it helps you to analyze the relationships you have in your life and to see if you're also making the same mistakes, and you know, I will also try to prefer solutions to them. Okay, all right, so the first thing that I have here is not knowing how to say no. Yes, I remember when I was dating, so I didn't really date a lot in my life. Yeah, I'm one of those people that were very intentional about dating. Well, I think when I got to a certain age, okay, because when I was really dating, you guys know that throughout my university days I didn't really date. I don't think I dated anybody whilst I was in my university, and immediately after I finished I met my husband. So some of this mistakes was also be some of the mistakes I made whilst I was dating my husband, but before that I had dated quite a number of people. Okay, I dated a lot before I was really serious about my life. Okay, so I think one of the biggest mistake I made when I just started dating was I did not know how to say no. I dated some guys that I didn't even know I was dating. I said yes to guys that, you know, I was dating guys that, you know, I didn't really like, I didn't want to date, but because I had a fear of saying no, I kept on saying yes. So I remember then, you know, a guy would, you know, reach out to me and, you know, I have another one, sorry, as I'm talking it's entering my head. Yeah, I didn't know how to say no, and I remember then like guys will approach me and say, hey, you're so beautiful, I like you, I've been noticing you around and blah blah blah, and I really like you, I would like to, you know, get to know you better. For some reason I find it very difficult to say no, and I wish I could say that I have overcome that. I have a lot, okay, but I think I still struggle with it a little bit, right? I still feel very bad. The other day I was on the phone with my husband and a guy stopped me, he approached me, and obviously was trying to ask me out, and I was really praying to God that something happens to get me away out of this situation, because I feel so bad. You know, I have, even when I'm married, I've had guys walk up to me and ask for my number, and I don't know how to tell them that I'm taking. Most times I eventually do. I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm married. I remember one, this was so painful because we were on a retreat in church. My husband attends that same church, okay? But yeah, if you know me and my husband, because when we just got married, a few weeks into getting married, we used to sit together in church. We stopped sitting together in church, and I realized that we're always fighting. Okay, well, not fighting, but yeah, I easily get distracted when I'm sitting with people that I know. Even if you're my friend, we don't sit together in church. I go and sit down on my own because I like to focus. And if you're doing something else, even if you're, you know, maybe taking notes on your phone, I'm trying to check if it's really notes you're taking, right? So yeah, anyways, we don't sit together, also because we belong in different departments. My husband belongs in, but I belong in another department, so we hardly sit together in church. And for some reason I don't wear my ring all the time, or I didn't used to, I still don't. But anyway, so this guy, we're in a retreat, and he's been noticing me for days and days. Apparently he's been trying to approach me, and he's just been wasting his time for like 3 days trying to look for a good time to talk to me. And eventually when he came, I'm like, oh, he just came to me, was like, hey, and then he was talking. You know, when they start, you know where they are going, okay? And I felt so bad for him. And then he was like, do you mind if I have your number? I'm like, I don't mind, but just so you know, I am a married woman, or I am married. And he was like, what? You're married? You could tell the, you know, the shock. He was like, oh, and then you know what that happens, and that's all, but still we can be friends. My brother, we cannot be friends because I know what you're after and it cannot be possible. But out of, you know, sheer, oh, you know, I will still give them my number, and then when they leave I block them. Yeah, but I think I've learned a lot. My husband has taught me a lot how to say no, and I am still learning, but that really got me into relationships that I did not really want to be in. So if you struggle with saying no, you have to learn, okay? Maybe we'll do a video about how to say no when I figure it out. I can't do a video that I'm still working on, okay? So yeah, that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made whilst I was dating. That was my husband. So yeah, you need to learn how to, you know, politely say no. Now, you know, I've seen ladies that, you know, a guy will approach you, insult him, or you make him feel bad or less than because he's asking you out. I think that is uncalled for and it's rude. You don't have to be rude, you know, just let them know, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not interested in being in a relationship now, or I'm in a relationship with somebody else, or you know, you don't need to tell them that I don't like you, or you don't look good, or you are not my spec. You don't need to say that. You can politely let them know that, oh, sorry, I'm not, you know, I'm not or I'm in a relationship, or you know, I'm not looking for a relationship at the moment. And then they'll push, oh, can we be friends? No, sorry, and move on, right? Some guys will be very stupid about it, because I've seen guys that I've told, no, I don't want to be your friend, I'm not interested, and you know, they took it personally, and you know, they insult you as you're going. That's their cup of tea. You just dodge the bullets anyway. So you need to learn how to say no. I had to start learning, and I am still learning this, okay? All right, the other mistake that I made is lowering my standards. Yes, before I started dating, I knew that, and when I'm talking about standards, I'm not talking about the standard of who he should be, right? Yes, well, that's part of it, but lowering my standard in terms of, there are certain things that I like before I started dating were non-negotiables to me. You cannot convince me to do them. There were things that I would ordinarily not tolerate in relationships, but you know, sometimes in a few relationships that I had, there were things that I wish that I did not indulge in, or I did not do, because those were things I didn't believe in, but I was doing them because I didn't want the person to leave me, or I was scared that I was going to lose the relationship, right? So thankfully, there were a lot of things that I didn't do, you know, regardless. But there were other things that I did that, you know, I probably shouldn't have. Maybe because of peer pressure, I lowered my standard. Also, the kind of guys that I was going for, you know, I remember when I was much younger, you know, everyone had relationships, and I wanted to have one. And, you know, because of that, stop saying, you know, because of that, you know, I can't stop this. Because of that, I settled for, you know, guys that I probably shouldn't have settled for. So yeah, I lowered my standard in terms of the people I was dating, people that were not necessarily Christians, that were not really believers. You know, they were Christian in names, but not necessarily Christians in actions. People that did not really believe in the things that I believe in. Just yesterday, I got a message on TikTok. By the way, if you're not following me on TikTok, you're so wrong. It's victoria.fash on TikTok. Please follow me on TikTok. It's victoria.a.fash on Instagram. But this lady messaged me on TikTok, and she was talking about how she was in a relationship with this guy who is, she said he's a Christian but not a believer, not a born again Christian. First of all, there's nothing like a Christian but not born again. You are either a born again Christian or you're not. Okay, so stop trying to negotiate. It goes to church, he's not really a believer. Why are you settling? Okay. So, and then the guy wanted her to get pregnant for him. They've been having sex, obviously, and he wanted her to get pregnant for him, and she feels bad, blah blah blah. And I'm like, my sister, you know, this thing is something you don't want to do. You know that it's a sin. You know that, you know, it's not right, but you keep indulging it. Why are you lowering your standard because you want to appeal to a guy? So, you know, I gave my own advice, and hopefully she took it. And then the next mistake that I made is dating for approval. Yes, dating for approval from friends, dating for approval from people that really are also doing their own lives for your own approval, right? I know when I was much younger, I was dating. I did not need a boyfriend when I started having boyfriends. Everyone was having it, and I wanted to be approved, or I was seeking for validation from people that really I do not need their validation. And I started dating for that. Even if you are in the age where you should be dating, some people are dating because they just want their parents to get off their back, right? So you go into a relationship with a guy that, you know, you're not really in sync with. Even someone, you know, let me show you guys something. So a lady reached out to me on Instagram, and she sent voice notes. I believe this is the notes. Yeah, she sent voice notes, right? Can you guys see this? Oh yeah, so this is 1 page, this is 2 page, this is 3 page. This is, you know, and 3.5 that I eventually, you know, all of this is from one person, okay? One person who reached out to me on Instagram, because normally when you reach out to me, I try to like write out the points so that, you know, I am able to give informed advice. And she wrote to me, sharing with me. So that what I just showed you is, you know, a conversation I had with a lady who, she's married, okay? She's settled for the guy that she married, you know, because everyone was married, everyone was expecting her to be married. She ended up marrying a guy. She said that a day to her wedding, she actually wrote on her Facebook feed that I'm about to make the biggest mistake of my life. Yeah, she she wrote on that like a day to her wedding, the wedding night, the night before the wedding. She said, I'm about to make the biggest mistake of my life, because she knew that this guy she's about to get married to, he, you know, he's bad news. However, she had been in a relationship before him and the guy was abusive to her, and she felt like she just wanted to marry this guy so that, because she doesn't trust herself, she feels like she will go back to the abusive guy. So she ended up marrying someone that she wasn't attracted to, someone that, you know, did not share the same faith with her, someone that he wasn't all that, but she did it also because all of her sisters were married and she felt like she needed to get married. And then obviously for 3 pages, you already know it was a disaster. It was a disaster. Okay, so never marry for people's approval, right? That's what I was, yeah, never date, or yeah, now that we're talking about dating now, but it even happens, right? You date the guy because you want approval from your friends, you want them to say, oh, she's in a relationship, oh, this and that. So people date certain people because of approval too. So in this case, you're dating a person, it's not just you dating for approval. You want people to approve the person you're dating. So you're dating somebody that you don't really like, whatever it is. You are dating someone that is not who you ought to be dating because it looks like what, you know, the kind of guy that your friends will approve of, or the kind of guys that your parents will approve of. Or you're dating a guy that, you know, your values does not align, but it is from your village, it's from your town, it's what your parent likes, it's what your friends like, and then you get into marriage and it is a disaster because you are dating for approval. You shouldn't date. And I did date for approval. I did date someone that I didn't really like, just because I wanted my friends to say, hey, hey, you don't know that, hey, that Wole is dating this guy. Not to call his nickname, but you know, this guy was like he was the guy that everyone wanted to date where I was living in the barracks, and I dated him, not necessarily because I liked him, but because, you know, for a guy like that to be attracted to me, I don't need to be attracted to him, I just said yes, right? So yeah, that is not a very good thing to do. All right, dating, wow, I've already talked 16 minutes, I need to be fast. Dating before knowing my worth. Yes, see, if you don't know your worth, people are going to put their price tag on you. If you don't define your worth, people will define it for you. People will price you anyhow. People will put their price tag on you, right? It's like when you go to the supermarket and you see the price tag on top, you know what you're getting is what you're paying for. But when you go to the market in Nigeria, like the farmers market or whatever, you negotiate the price because there is no fixed price. If you don't know what you're worth, you will accept any value that people place on you. And that was one of the things that I struggled with. I did not know my worth at certain times before I started dating, and that was why I chose not to date until after my undergrad, because I wanted to take time to know myself, to know me, to know my value, to know the value that I'm offering and the value I'm bringing to the table, and that would help me to know the guy that deserves to be in a relationship with me. But if you don't know your worth, if you don't know what you're worth, a guy will treat you the way, see, I don't know what's saying that. It's not my husband used to say that it's not every woman that a guy can disrespect. There's a way you carry yourself. There's a way you present yourself to a guy that makes him feel like he can disrespect you. He can cheat on you. He can, you know, he can hit you or abuse you and stuff. It's not every man. It's not every woman that a man can abuse, right? And it doesn't have to do with class. It doesn't have to do with money. There are a lot of rich women in marriages that are still being beaten. If you're Nigerian, you know about the story of this woman, the woman who sang Ekweme. Yeah, we know the story about her. A very popular musician, doing very well, but she was in an abusive relationship until the man beat her to death, right? So this happens if you don't know your value, if you don't know your worth, you don't have any business dating. Some of you need to take some time off and date yourself. Get to know yourself, get to know what you bring to the table. And how do you know? You know it through the word of God. Yes. What does God say about you? You are a royal priesthood, you're a holy nation, you are a peculiar person. You need to know what you carry, you need to know what you bring to the table. You need to know, a guy will not, he doesn't need to ask you what he brings to the table. Before he asks him to, he will think twice. Okay, am I, you know, you need to know what you carry, you need to know what you can offer, so that when a guy comes, he's not the one to tell you what you're worth. You let him know that no, you can't treat me this way because I am worth more than this and I deserve more than this, right? People are unable to ask their boyfriend, or rather to demand that their, you know, fiancé be faithful to them, or wait with them. You don't demand it, you have to have that conversation, right? You just feel like this is what is out there, the guy has come for me, let me go for it, and all of that. So anyways, not knowing my worth before dating definitely made me fall into certain traps, right? Focusing on outer appearance, I have a lot of videos about this. Yes, focusing on outer appearance. Yeah. You know, we all have an idea of the kind of guy we want to date, and most times it's about the physical look, how they look physically, and we base our decision solely on that. You know, he has the six packs, he's tall, he's dark, he's handsome, he has money, he drives a good car, and all of that. Those were, you know, things, those are good things. I'm not saying those are bad things. You can desire them, but that should not be your sole focus. That should not be your focus when you're trying to get someone you will be serious with. I dated guys who were tall, I dated guys who had six packs, I dated guys who had cars and all of that, and he did not end anywhere. They didn't treat me right. We didn't have, our values and everything did not align. Because you're not dating for now, you're dating for future. Because he is able to afford a car today does not mean he'll be able to afford it in the future. So if it's a person that, you know, spends a lot, does not have sense when it comes to, you know, money management or values, or knows or has a relationship with God, a lot of things can happen, and you can have all the money and not have happiness. So you need to choose, which one do you want? Happiness, money, you can have all of them, right? But you need to be careful. It depends on the kind of person that you end up being with, right? So focusing on outer appearance, how does it look on the outside? Is it presentable? Is it someone that I can do TikTok videos with? Is it someone that I can post on my Instagram feed that people would like? Do we have the same height? Is it as tall as me, or is it taller than me that I can, you know, what they call it, you know, when you want to kiss him, you have to like stand on your toes. Those things are sweet because our mind has been shaped by the cartoons we've watched growing up, that a guy has to be taller than a girl, that by the movies that we've watched, that this is the way a guy should look, a good guy or a nice guy should look. How many guys can you create? How many person can you create? Okay, but anyways, our mindset has been shaped in such a way that when it's not time for you to date, if it doesn't look like it, you leave it. But you forget that the Bible says that he hides treasure. It says this treasure has been hidden in earthen vessel. The treasure is always hidden in rough. The treasure, when you look at diamond is always rough on the outside, right? So I'm not saying that all the guys that look good on the outside does not look good in. They are there, but don't be quick don't be quick to ignore a guy because he doesn't look like it on the outside. You don't know what he's carrying on the inside, which might be of more benefit to you than whatever it might look like on the outside. Okay, so you need to be very mindful. Get to know him. You don't have to marry him, you don't even have to date, but be friends. Don't be quick to judge a person based on how they look on the outward. Try to get to know them. I told you guys when my husband came, he wasn't really what I was looking for on the outward. It didn't really look like the picture I had in mind of the kind of guy I wanted to settle down with. But when I got to know him, the more we talked, the more I realized that, oh my God, this guy has everything I'm looking for on the inside, and the outside can be worked on, it can be improved on. And to be honest, sometimes it's not even him that needs to be improved, it's your mindset. It is my mind, because my mindset first of all has to change. That where did this come from? Where did I have this mindset that my husband has to be tall? Where did I have this mindset that my husband has to have six packs? Where is that? Is that biblical? You know, I'm not saying those things are good. If you find it, great, right? But that's not all what life is, because trust me, a lot of things can happen to the physical appearance even after you get married. So what happens when you divorce? If suddenly his fine yellow skin is not yellow again, or his dark skin is not popping again, or doesn't have the six packs and everything, would you leave him? No. So you need to fall in love on fall in love for who he is with who he is on the inside before you fall in love with who he is on the outside. Build friendship, build relationships, see your values, your love languages. You know, you have to be able to have some kind of excitement, not from what he looks or she looks on the outside, but on what he or she looks of is rather in the core of their being on the inside, right? Okay, so I don't think I'll be able to finish it. I think this might have a part 2, but I'm going to talk about this last because I don't want this video to be long. Dating men who are not ready. Yes, that is the last one I'll talk about here. I still have like 5 more to go. Dating men who are not ready. Yes, especially if you are ready to be married. I didn't have this mistake because when I was dating, I wasn't ready, to be honest. So, and I think that's the next one, dating before I was ready. But we can talk about those. So it can go hand in hand. You're dating someone who is not ready, or you yourself, you're dating before you're ready to date, right? The problem with dating before you're ready is you make a lot of mistakes. You don't know your worth yet. You don't know what you want. You don't have a goal for the relationship. You're just seeing how it goes. You're just having fun. And with that, a lot of mistakes can be made. So dating before you're ready can be very dangerous, but dating who is not ready is a problem. If you, especially when you are ready, the guy does not see you, he's still pursuing his goals, he's still, you know, or he's just out of a relationship, and he, you know, me and Yemi, by the way, if you're not subscribed to Truth and Tales podcast, you're wrong. Me and Yemi, we do amazing video. We actually just finished recording a video on Truth and Tales. Please make sure that you watch that. I'll leave it linked below. We're talking, there was a lady who reached out to us a while ago, and she was talking about this guy, you know, she goes to his house, cook for him, does everything, lay his bed, warm his bed, have sex and all of that, and now he's saying that they are not dating, like that he has never asked her out. And when we heard from the guy said that, you know, he never asked her to be his girlfriend. As a matter of fact, when she came to him to approach him, he told her that he wasn't ready. He was just coming out of a relationship, and everything she did for him, he never asked her to do them. She did it out of the goodness of her heart. He had sex with her because she presented her body. He never raped her. So you're dating who is not ready. Maybe he's telling you that he's out of relationship, or he's pursuing his career and he's not ready, but you don't believe him. Someone said when a man tell you or show you who he is, you believe him the first time. He's telling you that I'm not, you know, or sometimes I don't even tell you. He shows it to you. He's sleeping around. He has multiple girlfriends. He has a very bad money habit. He doesn't call you. He doesn't acknowledge your presence. He doesn't acknowledge your relationship with other people. He's, you know, yeah. He's giving you the signs, and you're seeing the signs. You're seeing him with this girl today, with this girl tomorrow, posting different girls on his status that you cannot trace, you know, whether there's family members or his friends. He's never available for you. He's not emotionally available. I've talked about emotionally available, I've done a video on being emotionally available. Go and watch that video. You know, you see all the signs there. And yet you are still hoping. You are hoping that, you know, someday it's going to be better. He's not a Christian, but you're hoping that you can change him as per the assistant Holy Spirit that you are, you know. And then you end up in a relationship with, you know, and you're trapped because the guy does not really send you, or the girl does not really send you, and then you're heartbroken. So dating people who are not ready, that is definitely one mistake I've seen people made. I never made that mistake because I realized that I wasn't ready, so I did not. And then when I was ready, I met a guy who was ready and we got married. So yeah, let me know if there's any mistake that you have made I haven't mentioned. Maybe that will be in the part 2, which I'll record after this video. Let me know in the comment section below. Have you ever been in that situation before? Have you ever dated someone that you shouldn't have dated, or you didn't want to date? Have you ever dated for approval? Let me know in the comment section below. Until we meet again, I still remain your favorite girl, Victoria. Remember to like this video. Please remember to subscribe if you have not. Remember to share this video. You never can tell, and I know I keep saying this, but please, I really mean it. You guys come to say, oh, this video touched me and everything, but you don't share them. Please share the video. Okay, all right, we'll continue this conversation in the next video. Until then, have an amazing week. Okay, bye. Bye guys. I actually have another video part 2 somewhere on my laptop that I've not uploaded. I think that's when I was talking about culture shock in the US. I'm also going to work on that. Anyways guys, have an amazing week. Bye.